Hello Bookish friends, welcome to another Tag Tuesday video. In this video I'm going to do the Garbaugust tag. Garbaugust is a new readathon that is created by Criminally. And if I have not been doing Berna's Bookish Bingo, I would have probably joined this readathon. Like the readathon, this tag was also created by Criminally, and I was tagged by Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, one of the co-hosts of this readathon. The questions are very interesting, and I'm very glad to have a chance to talk about books that are considered trashy. The first question, the trashy books are often dismissed by the critics. What's a book which is regarded as trash, which you think has an artistic value? With the exception of a few very bad books, I think every book has an artistic value. But I chose a book Alice actually calls trash adjacent. The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Dan Brown is criticized for writing the same book over and over again. Although I think it's a fair critic, it doesn't change the fact that I enjoy these books immensely. And for the artistic value, I just love his descriptions of art, architecture and city in his books as an architect. So that is another reason, as well as them being very engaging, why I love Dan Brown books. Question 2. Critics often love books with extreme or challenging content. Which critically praised book did you think was trash? I chose a very early classic for this question, The Decameron by Giovanni Boccaccio. In this book, 10 people get together in the times of plague, isolating themselves from the others, and they tell each other stories to pass their time, as well as escaping from the reality. Although I found the idea very interesting, the stories they told were all about sex, betrayal and infidelity, so it was certainly trash, like the books that are considered trash nowadays. Question 3. Not everyone approves of trashy books. What's the book you wouldn't read in public? I mostly read in public, but fortunately I mostly use e-reader, so I can read almost anything. If I had been reading physical books in the public transport, I certainly wouldn't read a romance book with sexy covers. For example, it would be really hard to read a book with this cover, The Beast by Jenny Foster, in the metro train very early while going to work. Question 4. Books about killer animals are almost always trashy. What animal would you least likely to be attacked by? I chose eagle. They would attack me from very different places and continuously, which would be like torture. Whereas if I'm attacked by a bigger animal, I would have an instantaneous death, which would be less painful. Question 5. Trashy books often flourish in specific genres. What's your favorite trashy subgenre? Historical romance with sexy scenes, but not in the sense that it can be called erotica, in between a clean romance and erotica in an historical setting. Question 6. Famous people love to make their fans by publishing books. Which celebrity would you like to read a trashy novel by? I hope Ollie forgives me for this different take on this question. I chose a trashy memoir, actually. I'm a big fan of Marvel Cinematic Universe, which can be considered movie trash by many cinema critics. But I just love how all of the movies are interconnected with each other. Even though I'm not a big fan of some of the movies in the series, but I just love the general idea of those movies. And I actually chose maybe the nicest guy in this industry, But he talks a lot and most probably would tell many details and spoilers about Marvel Cinematic Universe in his memoir, Mark Ruffalo, who plays the Hulk. I really would like to read a memoir about his time in Marvel Cinematic Universe by him. Question 7. Trashy books have the best covers. Which book on your shelves has the trashiest cover? I went through my bookshelf with physical books. I do not own many physical books, as most of you know, because I donate most of them and keep the ones that I will certainly reread. But there's a book in my TBR which I haven't read yet called Jane Austen Hayatımı Mahvetti. The original English title is Jane Austen Ruined My Life, written by Beth Patilow, and it can be considered trashy because Jane Austen fans would be interested in this book and buy this book. Actually, my best friend bought this book as a gift for me because she knew I would like it very, very much, and I just love the cover. The way she faints like the ladies at that time did, so that it fits perfectly with the theme of Jane Austen. I have more interesting covers in my Kindle books, but this was the one which was trashiest in my physical TBR. Question 8. Trashy books often contain adult themes. What's the book you read before you were old enough to? I read Deceptions by Judith Michael when I was 13 or 14, and it was the first time that I read a sex scene in a book, and I was very, very interested, like you can guess, as a teenage girl. And I actually talked about this book with my friends. We were all 13, 14 or 15 at that time. That book became a hit among us because of those scenes. I read much more adult content than that one, but that was the first one that I read. Question 9. If you were a character in a shifter romance, what creature would you want you or your partner to shift into? I'm not a big fan of shifter romances. I certainly would not want to shift into anything, but since I have to answer, I would choose my partner to change into Wolverine in the Hugh Jackman form. I think he's very, very sexy in that role. So my answer is werewolf or wolf. But I would certainly prefer a human being. And the last question is tag the trashiest booktubers you know. Since it's the last week of August and many people have done this tag, I will not tag any specific booktubers, but I want to tag anybody who wants to do this tag and have not been tagged. You can say you were tagged by me. Those were my answers for Garbaugust book tag. Answering these questions has been a very fun experience for me. Thank you, Ollie, for creating this tag, and Alice for tagging me. So please comment down below. What was the trashy book that you read before you were old enough to read it? I'm very curious about the answer of that question specifically. And if you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, I'm going to choose garbage. Garbage means çöp in Turkish, and çöp is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.